Hey, y'all. You've found the Fishing Business Podcast, and this is going to be a quick one today. I got something real fast I want to tell you about. Last week, I introduced you to some Instagram influencers that I thought would be good for you to follow and see how they approached and produced their feed, the content that they showed the rest of the world, because they obviously are really good at building their brands. They've built big followings, and I thought they would be good inspiration for you if you are ever struggle with what do I post. Okay, so this time I want to talk to you about some incredible photographers to follow. All right, this is going to be outdoor photographers, incredible outdoor photographers to follow. And I bet a lot of you are already following a lot of these folks. Okay, I'm going to share my screen right here. All right, the first one is Photomans or Photoman S. I'm not exactly sure. I think it might be Photoman S, Photomans. And this is Seigo Saito. Seigo is a really good friend of fishing and a really good friend of mine. He's a Japanese photographer who lives in the States, and he documents some Japanese anglers for Japanese publications, but he also ends up selling his photography to a lot of, American fishing media. So I want you to look at Seigo because he has the finest lenses and the finest glass, and also just an incredible eye. Look at this picture of Carl Jochumsen at the Bassmaster Elite on the St. Johns River. Doesn't that tell you a story? I mean, it's just such an incredible picture. He also will capture moments in his life like this. This is walking through the airport in Atlanta, which I'm sure he does a lot of. And it just tells a story in itself. Again, technically, he is an incredibly technically accurate photographer. You can see his captions are in English and Japanese. This is the Big Texan Steak Ranch in Amarillo, Texas. He must have been driving cross country when he did this one. But anyway, like I said, great atmosphere and ambience in his photography. He can really capture the moment really well. Here's another one. Gosh, that's such a nice, I don't know who that is. Oh my gosh, I love that he's looking right at the camera like that. That's great. All right. Next, I'm going to say James Overstreet. Now, James Overstreet is outdoor shooter, and James is a photographer for Bassmaster, and he and I worked together for years, and he's a fabulous guy. I've begged him to come on the podcast, and he just won't, y'all. He just says, I don't know why. I guess he doesn't want to talk. He likes to tell his story through pictures, I think. Depending on the time of the year when you look at James Overstreet's outdoor shooter feed, there might be a lot of hunting shots because he does a lot of hunting. And then there also may be a lot of fishing shots because he does a lot of fishing. Look at this picture of Rick Klein here. I mean, what a great photograph. Okay, now that's just technically a great photograph. But what I wanted to point out to you about Overstreet is, look at that picture. Doesn't that say a lot about Seth Feider? He is going onto the stage to receive his keys to a new Tundra that he won in the Big Bass at Texas Fest. And look, he's hopping onto the stage, and you can see it says so much about his personality. Also, let me scroll back here. James, oh, look at this big buck jumping over a fence. As only Overstreet can do it, y'all. Hunting out of an airboat somewhere. Oh, this was back in 2006. But like I said, he does follow James Overstreet if you want to get some new ideas about how to tell your story in pictures. Follow him. This is a great shot right here of Josh Douglas. If anybody out there is married to an angler, or your significant other is an angler, and you have a chance to capture a photo like this picture tells a story like if a picture paints 1,000 words. it does definitely paints 1,000 words. And this is great. This is Mercer arriving to the venue for the Bassmaster Elite Series Championship at Lake Champlain on Sunday. And by Sunday, all these guys that have been out there all week are all just kind of ragged around the edges. And that's what this picture says about Dave Mercer. He's kind of ragged around the edges here. But anyway, like I said, follow James Overstreet. You will not regret it. You'll get some insight into the sport, and it'll also hopefully inspire you of how to sneak in some personality and behind the scenes and lifestyle into your Instagram feed. When you're wondering what to post about, take a look at some of these guys, and I bet you'll get some ideas. All right, like I said, very, very solid outdoor photographers for you to follow. I think you would never regret following any of these guys. All right, we'll see you next time on the Fishing Business Podcast. That's it for me, y'all.